everybody, Infantryok here with a new series called Forgotten Gaming. Today our subject is going to be the Super Advantage, a controller for the Super Nintendo. Here's a quick side view of the thing. This was made for the Super Nintendo somewhere in the mid-90s, not quite sure on the exact date. Alright, we'll start it off here. It plugs in like any other normal controller. This one is plugged in on the left. But it's not quite your average controller. This is size comparison to your normal SNES controller. In fact, it looks a lot more like a console than a controller. Look how well it blends in with actual consoles. Sorry about these pictures, I was taking them kind of late at night and had to take flash off. Here's the joystick. Well, it didn't really work well because you're playing Super Nintendo games. You should have a D-pad, but instead for some reason it came with this joystick. Who knows? The buttons between the colored ones and the joysticks are as follows. Start and select, those are normal. The next one's a dial, and the next one says slow. This doesn't do exactly what you think it would do. You think it slows down game, but instead it rapidly pauses and unpauses the game. I'm thinking the producers thought this would make it seem like it's slowed down, except with most games where a menu pops up, you can't do anything. The dial controls how fast it unpauses and pauses the game. Here are the buttons. As you can see, they're about the size of a quarter, making it hard to be an actual really good controller. As you see, it uses the original Super Nintendo color scheme, and the gray ones are R and L buttons. Alright, so here are some dials. To a person who first gets this controller, these are confusing as heck. Thanks to the Turtle Bird for helping me figure these out. Here's what it does. Set in this position I have them now, it does absolutely nothing. If you put it over one, it still does absolutely nothing. That's labeled turbo for some reason, but it still does nothing. If you put it over to auto, it rapidly presses the button, like so fast that you can actually glitch off the screen on some games. I'm not quite sure why they did this. You think like auto would be held and turbo would be pressing it really fast. Maybe the controller's not made so well. Up here are some more dials. These control the switches below for the intensity. The only thing they have to do is if it's on auto, how fast the button is pressed. Here's the label on it that says Super Advantage. It's made by Asiware, and I don't see the Nintendo license anywhere on it. It's also made in Korea. I don't think this was a high quality product, because these little black things are supposed to cover up the screws. I have 3 covering the screws, and this one over here just kind of sitting off to the side. Well, that's about all the info I can tell you for the Super Advantage. They're pretty hard to find, but I've seen a few copies on eBay. They go for anywhere from $10 to $20. I don't really recommend one. It doesn't actually make the gaming experience easier. It usually makes it a lot harder unless the game is centered around button mashing. Then all you have to do is switch the switch over to one side and sit there. Till next time.